Hey, welcome everyone to another coach video tip. I'm Dan Foster, the Chief Operating Officer and an Executive Coach here at Building Champions. And today I'm joined by one of my close friends and an outstanding coach, Carlos Marín. And we're going to dive into a topic that's becoming more and more essential in today's workplace, creating a coaching culture. So at Building Champions, we believe that leadership is more than just about managing performance. It's truly about unlocking potential. And one of the most effective ways for a leader can do that is by learning to coach their people. So, Carlos, my friend, so good to see you. I'm glad you're here with me, bud.
It is great to be here, Dan. Thanks so much for the opportunity. I always cherish these times.
So, Bud, to kick us off, when we talk about creating a coaching culture, what do we really mean by that? And because we know it can be super powerful for teams and organizations, but just help us define that a little bit more.
Yeah. Here's my working definition.
Okay.
A coaching culture within an organization is one where leaders and team members consistently prioritize growth, empowerment, and meaningful relationships through intentional coaching focused interactions.
Yeah.
So this is where things switch a little bit, and
Okay.
and we start seeing things going from command and control or just do as I say
Mhm.
to, hey, let's really have a conversation here. And it's not merely about, again, teaching skills or transferring knowledge, but about cultivating an environment where powerful feedback, insightful questioning, and active listening,
Yeah.
like you were saying, unlock. I love that word. It just helps me see things better. Untapped potential,
Mm.
performance, and ultimately purpose.
Yes. I love it, man. I love it. And the word that I love that you used is you didn't say it's all about the formal one on one. You said it's about
Mm,
intentional
mhm.
conversations. And that it doesn't have to be always in a, well, sorry, we don't have our one on one scheduled, so I can't coach you right now. It can
Eh,
really be any time, just being intentional as a leader.
It's the intentionality that drives the change here.
Yep.
And here's some of the things that kind of also play into it. These cultures thrive when every individual is encouraged to do a couple of things. One is to drive to clarity. And then again, like not just in our one-on-ones, but throughout the organization, we're driving to clarity. We're setting ambitious goals.
Yep.
We engage in self-reflection to gain insights that then drive to action. So
Mm,
it's driving to clarity and driving to action. And that's the thing. A lot of the times I think leaders start off on this coaching culture journey because they're trying to fix a problem.
yeah.
And typically it's performance, right? Performance is
Mhm.
tanking. Oh, dude, so I got to do something. You know what? I've been hearing about this coaching thing.
Yeah.
Bring in the coaches. And it's not like that. It's building this thing that, or they also start thinking about, oh, that's just kind of touchy feely stuff, or
Hmm.
psycho babble or whatever. No, it really comes down to this, again, a culture that thrives in doing two things very well: driving to clarity for its people, and then driving to action.
Love it. Love it. You're talking about a leader really shifting their mindset when they start to coach their direct reports. And that's something we're big on here at Building Champions. All of our clients, we really encourage them to be having those one-on-ones with their direct reports. But when you have that mindset shift that it's not just about performance, but it is about unlocking that potential, how does that change the relationship between the leader and their team?
I think you said it's transformative.
Mm,
When a leader adopts a coaching mindset, the
yeah,
entire dynamic with their team undergoes this powerful transformation.
yeah.
And rather than simply, again, directing tasks, correcting mistakes, avoiding mistakes, driving to short term outcomes, the leader begins to focus on developing the entire person. And
Hmm.
this is revolutionary because a lot of the times in business, we think, no, you leave your personal stuff out the door. You just, as soon as, I don't know if you've seen this show, Severance, right? But
Yes,
it's this
yes.
idea where you have this chip in your head or whatever, and as soon as you walk in, you forget
That's
your
right.
outie, and now you're
Uh-huh.
just your innie, and just we. Well, I'm not sure that the technology exists. Maybe it does, but at this point in time, as far as I know, you bring in the whole human to
Yes.
that relationship. And so rather than just doing those short-term outcomes and tasks, we
Yeah.
really started looking at leading the entire person, the whole person. So
Yes.
what do? You ask questions. You
Mm.
ask questions, and those questions really have the power to unlock that potential, to really intentionally invest in the long-term goal of each team member. The
Yeah.
mindset shift in that relationship goes from transactional to transformational, really does.
I like
From
that.
simply beating people over the head with information to
Yeah.
what I like to call impartation. Let me
Yeah.
impart this to you.
Yeah.
So instead of this hierarchical top-down approach, the leader walks alongside the team members, guiding them. They're more of a Sherpa.
Hmm.
They're more of a guide. They're more of a partner. And again, driving to clarity, guiding them towards clarity, purpose, and
Yeah.
ownership, so they can then drive to action, drive to
Yes.
success.
Yeah, I love that, man. I love it. You're hitting on these powerful questions and listening, being this sort of guide Sherpa like you're talking about. And it really does move beyond just performance. We're not saying performance isn't a key part of coaching and leading. Of course it is, but you're also saying, hey, there's a personal connection space and there's a development space there as well. So, performance, connection, development. Why do you think those three dimensions are just so important for leaders today?
Yeah, you're spot on. The truly great coaching environments, coaching conversations,
Mm.
intentionally weave those three things together.
Yeah.
You cannot just focus on performance. If you do, I mean, you might as well be running a dog and pony show. I mean, literally, it's not
Right.
just about performance.
Hmm.
The other two are really important: personal connection and personal development for that person. And we
Hmm.
can hone in on that. We're
Yeah.
working with human beings, not human doing. So here's why I think embracing all three dimensions really matters deeply, especially for today's leaders.
Okay.
Number one, performance.
Hmm.
Every leader that's worth their salts really wants to achieve meaningful results.
Sure.
If we're being honest, everybody wants to come in and say, there's meaning. I derive meaning from what I do. But focusing solely on performance limits your impact as a leader if you're
Mm.
just focused on that. And so when coaching conversations intentionally drive performance, then leaders help their teams gain clarity. They get accountability,
Hmm.
alignment around those key outcomes. Performance conversations that are rooted in coaching
Mm.
really help teams move from reactive tasks to
Yep.
proactive, intentional, and purpose driven results. The second is personal connection. And again, we're working with human beings. The moment, actually, even in that show, the innies and outies, there's
Yeah.
still personal connection once you're inside. So
Absolutely. Yep. Yep.
leadership at its core is relational.
Yes.
As much as we try to separate that and just say, well, I just got to drive to results, we know that the data shows that if you work on both relationship and results, you're going to be much, much more effective.
Yes.
When leaders take the time to create personal connection through meaningful conversations, going out after work and having a cup of coffee or something, trust deepens, and
Yes.
people thrive when they feel truly known. Uh,
Yes.
when
Hmm.
they feel truly valued, when they feel understood, not just as performers. Hear me on this. It's not just on performance, but just as human beings. Do
Yes.
you know the name of their kid, who's
Yeah.
doing Little League? Do you know sometimes is their pet,
Yeah.
pet dies and you notice that the performance is tanking and well, it's just a pet, man. No, it's like a person to them, right?
Right.
Do you know
Right.
these kinds of things? So that personal connection is key. And it creates this foundation for, there's a lot of work on this too, by the way, for psychological safety and
Yeah.
authenticity,
Hmm.
which enables teams to engage fully and honestly, not thinking, I can't be myself. I can't be who I really am here at work. They come in and they really invest their whole lives in every aspect of their work.
Love it.
And then the third one is personal development, right?
Yeah.
So this is key. A lot of people a lot of times we think, well, people are just here in my department because it's a stepping stone to somewhere else. And that's fine. Sometimes people are going to want to go somewhere,
Yep.
but sometimes people just want to grow. They don't want to go.
Hmm.
And personal development is the third thing that we need to make sure that we're weaving into these coaching cultures. And the best leaders always keep an eye on the future.
Yeah.
I love this. I always like quoting this. Peter Drucker said the best way to predict the future is to create it. And
Mm.
this is one way you can know for certain how the future of your team is going to be is
Yeah.
by creating these great coaching environments
Hmm.
where you take some intentional conversations that look beyond the immediate needs of your people, that really start focusing on ongoing growth, that you're like, okay, this stuff is good for you now, but I got to look at my team and see further along the line what they're going to need. And by
Yeah.
prioritizing development, then leaders ensure that those team members are growing towards their own aspiration, towards their own dreams and purpose. I think organizations typically do really well at the
Mhm.
organizational vision of things,
Yes.
but we kind of suck at understanding the personal vision of the individual and their
Mm.
personal development. What's that vision gonna require to develop in them and then connecting those two dots? When we do that, when we're able to connect those dots for people,
Hmm.
boy, you get some really powerful alignment and
Yes.
synergies that just take off with people. So, I guess in short,
Uh-huh.
intentional integration of performance, connection, personal development is how good leaders and actually great leaders really become truly extraordinary.
Yeah.
They really help to drive change in organizations. It impacts people's careers and really it impacts people's lives along the way. And I
Yeah.
that's the kind of leadership I'm interested in helping build, right?
Right. Yeah, exactly. And if you have entire departments doing this
Mm.
throughout the whole organization to where it's a part of the ecosystem of that organization is this coaching culture, then you have this leadership development happening. You have this connection happening. You have an accountability to performance, and it creates, like you said, a healthy environment, not just for that one team, but for all of the teams that are made up within the organization, which
Yeah.
ultimately helps the organization to not only thrive, but to be able to drive results and have sustainability long term and have this great pipeline of leaders
Yeah.
that you're helping to develop. So such a huge thing, I think, for organizations. So we've got probably a couple of listeners on today's call, Carlos, and I want to speak to the first one, which is that leader that really just wants to have more effective one-on-ones with
Mm.
their team members. They're hearing us talk about a coaching culture. It's resonating with them. Just give us like three tips for someone who's like, I just want to improve the one-on-ones. This is what I can start doing right now in my role.
That's a good one. Let's drive to action, right?
Yeah.
Well, let's see here. First, this is if you have a coach who's worth their salt, they're always going to come up to this first.
Hmm.
Always clarify purpose and intention.
Hmm.
Purpose and intention. Number one, whenever you're trying to, upgrade your one-on-ones, maybe rate yourself. How good are you at clarifying purpose and intention?
Okay.
Great one-on-ones are just not just updates. Let me tell you what's going on. You tell me what's going on. I'll tell you what's going on. Okay, we're updated. Good. Do that over email.
Yeah.
Record a video, send it. No, when we're looking at these are intentional, purposeful interactions that are designed for growth and alignment. Growth and alignment. So clearly stating the purpose of your one-on-ones. Hey, here's why I want to meet. Here's the overall meaning, reason,
Yeah.
the purpose and intention for our one-on-ones is great. So set expectations, clear expectations up front.
Okay.
Communicate the purpose of these conversations regularly. Let people know this is what our one-on-ones are for. A lot of the time, some leaders say, "Well, the one-on-ones is their time." Cool, but for what? You really get that clarity
Yes.
around the why. So two, ask powerful questions.
Hmm.
And here's a part B to that, and listen deeply.
Yeah.
That one's hard, okay? Because a lot of times, like, yeah, I can come up with a few powerful questions, and we have some that are, just we can pull them out of our sleeves. But once you've asked the question, actually listen,
Yes.
right? Just
Don't start thinking about the next question. Listen deeply, right?
or how you're going to reply, or we used to have a coach, right, that taught us this: wait, wait, why am I talking? Just really listen once you've
Yes.
asked the question, and prepare ahead of time. Be thoughtful. Prepare open-ended questions that explore not just the work, but the whole person. You're trying to go
Yeah.
for the whole person again, and then listen fully, right? And then three, prioritize consistency and follow through.
Good.
I cannot tell you. A lot of times we say, well, I want to upgrade my one-on-ones. Well, how often do you have them? Well, I have them on and off. And no, consistency.
Yes.
Consistency builds trust.
Okay, good.
Consistency builds trust. It builds accountability. It demonstrates your commitment to each of the team members that you're
Yep.
not canceling these things off and on. It's consistent. And then commit to follow through would be the next thing.
Mm,
Always get in there and say, okay, as your partner, because a lot of times this follow through thing, people can think of micromanagement. It's like, well,
right.
no, no, no. As your partner, I need to know enough to help enough.
Yes.
And so commit to
That's
that
good.
follow through, commit to consistent rhythm of, okay, how we're going to follow it. Can I get a hold of you in the next 3 days to make sure that, you're doing well in this area, to make sure I can block and tackle anything for you. Follow through with those as well.
Love it. Love it.
Leaders who implement these three things, they're simple, but they're super powerful. Create amazing one-on-one meetings, Dan.
That's great, bud. Thank you. So, purpose and intention, ask really good questions. And part B of that is listen deeply to the
Mhm.
responses. Don't be ready to ask the next question or talk yourself. And then that third one is just be consistent and follow up, so that people really truly understand that this is meaningful for you, that you're all in on this as well. You're not just creating a coaching culture to create more work for them to do and prep for a meeting with you. It's like these mean something for you. I love those three. So thank you.
Mhm.
All right. The other person that's listening probably today is one of those executive leaders that maybe has the ability to make a decision around how do we build a whole coaching culture here. They want to
Mm.
start building the coaching culture within their organization. They don't want to go out and recreate the wheel, right,
Mm.
Carlos? So how do they start? What would you say here?
Yeah, the first thing, if you're a leader thinking this way, I want to just encourage you and congratulate you for even starting on that journey. You've
Yeah.
noticed what's got you here is not going to take you there, and you want to do something about it. So, hey, kudos, great job. First thing I do is really get a clear vision as to what is that coaching culture really look like for you.
Hmm.
Paint a vivid picture of what do you want to see. What does a coaching culture look like for you? Number one. And then number two is it's quite simple. A lot of the times they're like, well, okay, great. Now I'm going to read all these books and I'm going to go do all this training and I'm going to get a few people to kind of come on board with me and get no need to reinvent the wheel.
Yeah.
We are here ready to partner with you to help you. We know how to get you from A to C to Z, get you all the way through it, and
Yep.
really partner with you to get there. So get a partner, envision a great future, and then assess where are you at now so that you can know where you want to go, but then partner with a really reputable coaching firm that can be holistic in the way in their approach.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you are then trying to reinvent the wheel. You're trying to hack the way things go, and sometimes hacks work, sometimes they're just a hack. So, really, we'd love to do anything, I'm sure, to help you both on the
Yep.
one-on-ones, one-to-manys, the entire organization, and we have proven 29 years of proven record of helping organizations do this successfully. So
It's so
partner.
fun. Yeah, it's so fun that over the last 30 years, like you're saying, we've been able to work with organizations and help them to build these coaching
Mhm.
cultures. And we're doing it. We did it last week with a healthcare company on the East Coast. We're looking at doing it later this year with a large mortgage company, a national mortgage company. And so there's just It's becoming a very popular topic because of what you said, Carlos. It moves from a transactional relationship to a transformative relationship between managers and their direct reports. And I love that we get to take everything that we've known as an organization for the past 30 years and just pour it in
Mhm.
to these organizations. So, Bud, thank you so much for your time
This
today,
is
your
so fun.
insights. Yeah, it is fun.
Yeah.
Always love talking to you. Folks, if you're wanting to know more about this topic, creating a coaching culture, please reach out to us. You can go to buildingchampions.com and you can learn more about us there. If you want to talk to Carlos specifically, check him out on LinkedIn or reach out to us at Building Champions and we'll connect the two of you so that you can talk about what it looks like to either elevate your game as a leader, doing better one-on-ones and coaching within your team, or maybe you want to have that conversation about creating that culture within your organization. No matter who you are, we're here to help and we're here to serve you. So, Carlos, thank you, bud. Great to be with you.
Thanks,
And
Dan.
yeah, absolutely. And thanks you for watching. We'll see you next time.
Goodbye.